You want an empire. You look at the titans of industry, the untouchable figures who bend the world to their will, and you think you deserve a seat at their table. You believe that your ambition, paired with your relentless work ethic, will be enough to elevate you to the top of the hierarchy. You are wrong. Ambition is common. Hard work is expected. What separates the architect of an empire from a footnote in someone else's story is the stomach for the brutal arithmetic of power. If you construct your kingdom on the assumption that competence and fairness will protect you, you are building a castle on a fault line. The world does not reward the righteous. It rewards the effective. And effectiveness, in the highest echelons of power, demands a psychology that most people find repulsive. Before you lay the first stone of your empire, you must understand the grim realities of the game you are choosing to play. You are stepping into an arena where the rules were written in blood centuries ago, codified by a man who understood the dark heart of human nature better than anyone. This is not about self-help. This is about survival. First, the myth of the good king is a lethal trap. You have been conditioned to believe that if you are fair, kind, and generous, your people will be loyal to you. You think that being a benevolent leader creates an unbreakable bond with those you lead. This is a fatal miscalculation. Benevolence is a luxury you cannot afford when you are building your foundation. When you give freely, people do not respect you. They expect more from you. The moment you stop giving, their gratitude curdles into resentment. They will view your past generosity as weakness, a flaw they can exploit. If you base your authority on how much people like you, you hand them the power to destroy you, simply by withdrawing their affection. A leader who is loved is entirely dependent on the emotional volatility of his subordinates. You must detach from the need to be perceived as a good person. Power is not a popularity contest. It is a mechanism of control. When you establish your empire, your foundation must be built on absolute authority, not shifting sentiment. Second, the arithmetic of cruelty dictates your longevity. You will inevitably have to make decisions that harm others. You will have to cut ties, fire loyal people who have outlived their usefulness, and crush competitors. Most ambitious people fail here. They drag out the pain. They execute their cruelty in small, agonizing doses to protect their own conscience. They apologize. They try to soften the blow. This guarantees their downfall. When you inflict injury, you must do it swiftly, totally, and without hesitation. A man who is lightly injured will seek revenge. A man who is crushed is incapable of it. If you must remove an obstacle, remove it entirely. Leave no room for recovery, no oxygen for a counterattack. Do all your harsh deeds at once, so the shock is singular and absolute. Over time, as stability returns, you can slowly drip out benefits and favors. People will forget the initial violence if their present circumstances are secure. Cruelty is a tool, not a vice. Use it precisely, exhaust it quickly, and move on. Comment: I accept the cost of power. Third, the fickle nature of devotion forces a choice between love and fear. You want both. Everyone does. But the human mind is wired for self-preservation, not altruism. Love is held by a chain of obligation, and because men are wicked, that chain is broken whenever it serves their own advantage. When the economy crashes, when your empire faces a scandal, when a richer competitor offers them a better deal, the love your followers have for you will vanish instantly. Fear, however, is sustained by the dread of punishment, which never abandons you. You do not need to be a tyrant, but you must be formidable. Your subordinates must understand, at a visceral level, that betraying you carries a cost so high it is not worth contemplating. Fear is predictable. Fear is reliable. It anchors your authority in a survival instinct rather than a fleeting emotion. Cultivate respect through competence, but underline it with the quiet, unspoken promise of retaliation against disloyalty. Fourth, The danger of the middle ground will ruin you before your enemies do. In conflicts, the weak always choose neutrality. They try to appease both sides, hoping to emerge unscathed. When you refuse to take a stand, you earn the contempt of the victor and the hatred of the defeated. The victor sees you as an opportunistic coward. The defeated sees you as a traitor to their cause. If you want to build an empire, you must embrace the friction of declaring your allegiances. Pick a side. Fight openly. If your side wins, you share in the spoils and secure a powerful ally. If your side loses, you have a companion in defeat who remembers your loyalty, and together you may rise again. Neutrality is an illusion of safety. It is the fastest way to isolate yourself in a world where isolation is death. Stand firm, draw your lines in the sand, and accept that making enemies is the unavoidable byproduct of moving forward. Fifth, the illusion of permanent allies is a comforting lie. You will build partnerships. You will find mentors, collaborators, and trusted lieutenants. You will look at them and see a brotherhood forged in the fires of ambition. Strip this romanticism from your mind immediately. People do not align with you, they align with their interests. As long as your trajectory benefits them, they will stand by your side, swear allegiance, and fight your battles. The second your interests diverge, they will turn on you with terrifying speed. Do not view this as a personal betrayal. View it as gravity. It is a natural law of human behavior. Never position your empire in a way that its survival depends entirely on the goodwill of a partner. Always retain a mechanism of independent leverage. You must possess the capacity to destroy any alliance you create without suffering catastrophic damage yourself. Trust carefully, but verify constantly, and always hold the keys to your own kingdom. Sixth, the weaponization of virtue requires separating morality from strategy. Society teaches you to be honest, transparent, and rigidly principled. In the daily lives of ordinary citizens, these traits are commendable. In the arena of power, they are handcuffs. You must appear virtuous. You must project integrity, faith, and humanity. People need to believe in the moral superiority of their leader. But behind closed doors, your mind must be entirely detached from these constraints. You must be fluid. You must be willing to lie, to break promises, and to deceive when the preservation of your empire demands it. A leader who insists on remaining morally pure in a world full of predators will be devoured. You use morality as a shield to pacify the masses and deflect scrutiny, but you use cold, calculating pragmatism as your compass. Understand the difference between the face you show to the public and the engine that drives your decisions. Comment, my mind answers only to strategy. Seventh, the fortress of self-reliance is the only structure that will not collapse. Many ambitious builders outsource their strength. They rely on external funding, third-party platforms, or rented audiences. They hire mercenaries, people motivated entirely by a paycheck, to defend their interests. A mercenary will fight for you in peacetime, but the moment the war turns bloody, they will flee. They have no skin in your game. Your empire must be defended by your own arms. You must build your own infrastructure, own your distribution, and cultivate a core team whose survival is inextricably linked to yours. Never put a critical function of your business in the hands of someone who has nothing to lose if it fails. Dependency is the first stage of ruin. If a sudden change in an algorithm, a policy shift by a bank, or the departure of a single executive can destroy you, you do not have an empire. You have a hostage situation. Sever the strings. Own your ground entirely. Eighth, the anatomy of betrayal dictates that the knife always comes from behind. Your enemies cannot destroy you easily because your defenses are raised against them. You watch them. You study their moves. The fatal blow rarely comes from a competitor. It comes from the inner circle. It comes from the lieutenant who feels underappreciated, the partner who thinks they could run the show better, the friend who feels overshadowed by your ascent. Ambition breeds envy, and envy is a silent poison. It festers in the dark. To protect your empire, you must master the psychology of those closest to you. Give them power, but limit their autonomy. Give them wealth, but ensure they know the source of it. Never allow any single subordinate to amass enough influence to challenge you. Pay attention to the subtle shifts in their demeanor, the delayed congratulations, the minor insubordinations, the passive-aggressive jokes. Betrayal always broadcasts a signal before it strikes. Train your eyes to see it. Ninth, the mastery of chaos determines the span of your reign. Machiavelli called it fortuna, the unpredictable, destructive force of circumstance. Markets will crash, pandemics will hit, scandals will break, technology will render your current models obsolete. Half of your success will be dictated by your skill, and the other half by your ability to survive fortuna. Most leaders build rigid structures. They optimize for efficiency, stripping away every redundancy to maximize profit. When the storm hits, their rigid structures shatter. You must build an empire that can absorb shocks, maintain reserves, cultivate multiple streams of leverage. Keep your mind adaptable, ready to pivot aggressively when the ground shifts. Chaos destroys the weak, but for the ruthless and the prepared, it is the greatest opportunity for expansion. When panic sets in and your competitors retreat into defensive postures, that is the exact moment you advance. You do not try to stop the flood. You build a ship and ride the water to higher ground. 10th, the ultimate sacrifice of the self is the final toll. Building an empire is not a career choice. It is an all-consuming fire that will burn away the person you used to be. The throne demands all of you. You will lose friends because they will no longer understand the altitude at which you operate. You will experience profound isolation because there are very few people who bear the same psychological weight. You will have to kill the soft, forgiving parts of your nature to make room for the cold, calculating machinery required to rule. You are not just building a structure, you are forging yourself into a weapon. You must accept that the person who started this journey is not the person who will finish it. If you flinch at this sacrifice, if you try to hold on to the comforts of a normal life while demanding the rewards of an extraordinary one, you will tear yourself apart. Power is a jealous master. It accepts no half measures. The world will try to convince you to soften your edges, to compromise your vision, to play nice. Let them talk. Keep your head down, build your defenses, and trust no one's judgment above your own. Do the work. Absorb the pain. Outlast the weak. Before you take your next step, look at the foundation you are building. Ensure it is made of stone, not sand. Ensure your mind is clear of illusions. If you are ready to accept the true cost of power, subscribe to this channel and join the few who see the world exactly as it is.